So Jeff, tell us how this relates to the plant above the ground.
Right.
The grapes.
Okay, the misconception. Here we go. The plants all have a top and a canopy. That's what we see. We don't see what happens underground. And the simple fact of the matter is the root mass is not there just to hold it in the ground. It forms a tremendous amount. We talked about air, water, nutrition, micronutrition, stability, all of that comes up. They also produce plant growth regulators and plant growth hormones under there. So that's the biology's part when they start building. When we look at a healthy plant up top, we've got big leaves, we've got good photosynthesizing, and that sends energy down. And because the energy go down, the root mass sends more energy up, so the plant sends more energy down, and they're like a pump. So there's energy going up and down all the time. So through photosynthesizing, comes down. When that plant is under stress, there's not the energy going down, so the root mass goes bugger you Jack, so it doesn't send the energy up, and because of that this plant can't get bigger. And this is a classic example. You want to know how it works, we've got a vine here right where we've been digging before. We've got a vine here, it's had compost on it for a year, we've got the water, it's got the air, it's got everything in it. We've got good leaf colour, good size. You can see by the wire all the shoots are sitting there. There's very, very small little shoots in here, which is why it was put on in the first place. And if we go immediately to this other plant, and this is interesting because there's two things that are going on here. We have, as we showed there before, this restriction of water, so we're not creating this big teardrop on the bottom. So the roots aren't right the way through that 600 like they are on this side. So therefore the plant's got more root mass to actually utilise it. Our leaf is showing because it's a lot smaller. We've only got 1 or 2 leaves in here, but our canopy height from there to here, so we've got a lot of small shoots showing through. So that tells you that this plant's under stress. And when it's under stress, and then the heat comes and the leaf starts shutting down, then it stops sending energy to the bottom. And the minute it stops sending energy down to the bottom, the root mass goes, well, bugger you Jack, I'm not going to waste this water, I've only got a small root mass, so it doesn't send anything up. So now the plant's under a stress mode. Now, what's happening in this particular vineyard is they're addressing that by trying to get a more consistent use of their water. A lot of water's going to waste there, it's all utilised here. There's a saving, but it's a saving that we only see in the root mass. And from there we get more consistency, we get bigger leaf. So under a stress situation, this will still have its leaf on at harvest, and if it gets too dry, that will not. So that now affects the fruit, because both of these plants have the same mode of action. They're interested in one thing. It's not wine, believe it or not. It couldn't give a toss about the wine. It is only interested in creating a seed. That's what Mother Nature put it there for. That seed is how that plant reproduces. It's the winemaker that wants the wine, and us humans, and we like wine as well. But in this particular instance here, because of the restriction of the root mass, the breakdown of the canopy, a lot of flavours aren't going to go into that berry that perhaps this plant has. Yep. And a winemaker wants consistency. The vineyard manager wants consistency. So the more consistent we can have this being utilising the water and the air, if we just take those two things, let alone the biology and everything else that builds to do it, the flavours are quite different.
Yep.
And this is a unique vineyard because it does make good quality wine, and that's why this is going on. They want to maintain the health of that plant, because in 5 years' time, it's had all the guts sucked out of it, it hasn't stored any reserves, and it goes bugger you Jack and shuts down. And that's what you don't want.